My name is Yolanda Rankin. I am an assistant professor in the School of Information in the College of Communication and Information at Florida State University. So in the School of Information, we're very much concerned with this intersection between information, technology, and people, which aligns with my research interest in human-computer interaction, which we commonly refer to as HCI. And so for me, the goal is to design technologies with and for underserved populations. And so you can consider underserved populations to be those populations that don't have the same access to resources, educational opportunities. It could be a matter of geographical proximity, meaning that, for example, they may be in a rural area that has very limited access to broadband, uh, things of that nature. And so the projects that I work on very much integrate information technology and people, and how we can bring those three together to solve some of the most pressing problems in society today. So I typically teach the Perspectives in Information Technology course. It's a required capstone course for IT and ICT majors. This class gives you a bird's eye view of some of the hot and latest trends in information and ICT, but it also teaches you about how to develop career management strategies so that once you're a graduate of FSU, you can go out and be successful and on your own terms, and as in what it takes to navigate your career. And so over the course of that semester, students develop these, what I call digital artifacts. So there's a career portfolio that showcases the students' work, whether it's course projects, hobbies on the side. They also develop what we call an interactive resume. So it's not like your traditional resume. This is a web-based interactive resume where the user goes into the particular student's website. They are giving very in-depth information about the student's background, but it provides an experience, a user experience that helps the student to position themselves in a favorable light for potential employers. My research lab is known as the Detour Research Lab, and the detour comes from designing for underserved populations. And so one of my projects, which is very near and dear to my heart, is this project in which we evaluate how Black women are navigating the computing ecosystem. So for the United States, issues of underrepresentation in computing exist for numerous populations. We call these populations marginalized populations. What we're looking for is we're in a unique space and time where there's plenty of opportunities for career mobility in the field of computing. And when I say computing, I'm talking not just computer science, it can be informatics, it could be data science, it could be information technology, information systems. All these things are related to having a strong computing component as part of the career preparation. But we have tons of jobs that we're not able to fill, and it's not going to get any better. And so when you see this big push for artificial intelligence from not just for fun or entertainment, not just for robots, but even in the sense of smart educational technologies that help you to learn. Think about COVID and how we're all now reduced to being in virtual environments. You're looking for ways to supplement students' learning and to support teachers and instructors. And so when you think about all of this, you want everyone to have a seat at the table in terms of how these technologies are designed. So bringing it back to the issue about Black women, I of course am a Black woman in computing. We are looking for ways that we can develop strategies to better support these populations navigating the computing ecosystem, meaning providing support, mentors, guidance, information, leveraging their social capital, expanding their professional networks, all of these things. And so my research looks at ways in which we can do that so that we can help to turn the tide in terms of more Black women being in the field. So right now, I'm doing a project where we're collecting Black women's stories and different stages of the pipeline. So let me break that down. So I'm looking at undergraduate students. I'm looking at industry professionals who may be early in their career. I'm looking at seasoned professionals that have been doing this for years and years and have a long-standing career. I'm also looking at those who have chosen the professorate and they're working in academia at particular institutions and colleges around the nation. But the reason why I'm doing this is because these stories that they share represent lived intersectional experiences. And the intersection comes from the intersection of race and gender and how this shapes people's lived experiences. And so when these women trust me to share their personal stories, I take that very seriously. And so it's inspiring for me to hear about the highs, the successes, and it's also encouraging to hear about the lows and how they were able to overcome those obstacles. So those things encourage me and keep me going because I, of course, have times and things are going very well. And then there's times when things are less positive. And that research for me is an inspiration to keep me going and to keep moving forward. So I love the fact that these women trust me with their stories, and that's really important to me. So I'll talk a little bit about my career path. I was a mathematics major in undergrad. I went to a historically Black college, Tougaloo College in Mississippi. I'm from the state of Mississippi. And when I was there, I was exposed to opportunities, internships at some of the top 500 companies. I worked at AT&T Bell Labs. I got to see people who looked like me who were enjoying lucrative careers. They loved what they were doing. Years later, when I finished my master's degree, that was the first job I took as a new graduate out of graduate school. And by that time, I had completed a master's in computer science. So I switched. I switched because that internship really opened my eyes to the fact that computer science wasn't going anywhere. And it also opened my eyes to the breadth of career opportunities in the field of computing. And so while most people think computer science is about programming, it's a lot more expansive than that. It involves how we design technology, whether it's on the back end, meaning the things that operate in the background to make these applications work, or it's the front end, the way the user interface resonates with people so they're able to quickly and intuitively interact, get the information they need, and hopefully have a positive experience. I care about how we design those experiences. So from that, I ended up going back to grad school to do my PhD at Northwestern, but with a different slant. I wanted to have some fun. So I fell into playing video games. It's like EverQuest 2 and World of Warcraft. And I discovered that these games were useful for language learning. Now, these are commercial games. They're not designed for language learning. A friend dared me to basically run a study and show that these games could support language learning, and that turned into my doctoral dissertation. Finishing up my PhD, I interviewed, went on a job market. I was about 80% sure at the time that I was going to go into academia and be a college professor. But I had this amazing experience interviewing at IBM in California. And it shifted my focus and my direction for my career because my initial thoughts was, what does IBM have to do with games? Why would they be interested in my work, right? They're not a gaming company. And I knew that it would be a great environment to push me, to get me to grow in a different direction. And so I actually turned down a position in academia and decided to put my dreams of being a professor on hold to work at IBM. And as a result, it helped me to expand this idea that games, the affordances of games, go beyond just language learning, but they even can help us to become leaders in the industry sector. And so I use my background in games to help design these user experiences to support geographically distributed groups of workers. And then I remembered that I wanted to be a college professor. Initially was hired into Spelman College to be an assistant professor there, but I was teaching. And so I love students. I love interacting with students. I do enjoy teaching, but I also love my research. And so for me, it was a wake-up call to try to bridge the gap. And Florida State University allowed me to do both teaching and research. And so for me, it was a no-brainer when I decided to leave Spelman College and come to Florida State. And I have not regretted it. It's been a great experience.